Have you ever heard of a book so controversial that its author's own family kept it hidden for over 70 years? Well, that's the story of Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. It was written way back in 1938, but it was just too provocative for the time. So today, we're going to crack it open and look at its core message, a timeless battle plan for taking control of your own mind to achieve success.
Hill kicks things off with a question that, let's be honest, probably hits close to home for a lot of us. Why do so many people feel kind of stuck, or aimless, or just unfulfilled? It's a question he dedicated his entire life to answering, and his answer starts by identifying a very specific type of person. And Hill had a name for this person, the drifter. Now, a drifter isn't necessarily lazy, they're just passive. They're basically on autopilot, letting life happen to them instead of making life happen for them. They're always reacting to circumstances instead of creating them, and this passive state makes them incredibly vulnerable. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. In the book, Hill literally stages an interview with the devil, and he uses this as a metaphor, right, for all those negative forces that hold us back. And the devil's entire strategy is captured in this one powerful sentence. See, a mind without direction, a mind that's just drifting, can be easily manipulated by fear, doubt, and every little distraction.
All right, so how does this inner devil actually work? What are its tactics for keeping people stuck in that drifting state? Well, Hill identified a whole arsenal of psychological weapons that it uses against us, and they all prey on our most basic human insecurities. And here they are, the big six. Think about it. The fear of poverty keeps you in a job you hate. The fear of criticism stops you from sharing that brilliant, bold idea you have. These fears, they paralyze us. They prevent the very actions we need to take to move forward. They are the invisible chains that keep a drifter anchored right where they are.
Okay, but here's the good news, right? It's not all doom and gloom. Hill didn't just diagnose the problem, he gave us the cure. And the very first step in outwitting your inner devil is to seize control of the battlefield itself, your mind. So the number one weapon against drifting is what Hill called a definite major purpose. Now, this isn't just some vague wish like, oh, I want to be successful. No, it's a crystal clear, super specific goal that you are absolutely passionate about. This purpose acts like a compass for your life, guiding every decision and shielding you from all those distractions. Okay, so you've got this big, clear goal. Awesome. But how do you make yourself truly believe in it, deep down? The answer is through something called autosuggestion. This is basically the process of deliberately feeding your mind positive, goal-oriented statements over and over until your subconscious just accepts them as reality. You're essentially programming your own mental software for success. And this phrase right here, it's a classic example of autosuggestion. Just repeating this, or better yet, creating a similar mantra that's tied directly to your specific purpose, is how you build an unshakable belief in your ability to get it done.
You know, a great way to think about this is to picture your mind as a camera. An unfocused mind, a drifter's mind, it just takes these blurry pictures of everything: gossip, bad news, negativity. But a mind with a definite purpose, it knows exactly what to focus on. It zooms in with crystal clear focus on the important stuff and lets all that background noise just fade away. So, owning your mind is step one. It's absolutely crucial. But, as you know, thoughts alone don't pay the bills. You have to translate that inner focus into real-world, decisive action. And Hill's big principle for action was this: go the extra mile. This simply means consistently delivering more value than you're paid for, or more than what's expected. And you're not doing it for a quick reward or a pat on the back. You're doing it because it sets you apart. It develops your skills and it builds a reputation that literally attracts opportunity. It's an investment in yourself. And there's no better story to illustrate this than that of Edward C. Barnes. Barnes had one single, definite major purpose: to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him. Now, he had no money, no connections, so he took a menial job at Edison's company just to get his foot in the door. So for years, Barnes just did his job. But here's the key: he was always watching, always looking for that one opening. And it finally came when Edison invented the dictaphone. The professional salespeople, they thought it was a joke. They said it would never sell. But Barnes saw the opportunity that everyone else completely missed. So he walks up to Edison and basically says, I can sell this thing. And remember, these are the machines the pros said were unsellable. He goes out on his own time, and in the very first month, he sells 7 of them. I mean, can you imagine? Edison was just blown away. This wasn't just some low-level assistant. This was a man of action, a man of vision. And so Barnes became Edison's exclusive business partner, making an absolute fortune. He didn't wait for opportunity to knock. His extra effort literally kicked the door down. And of course, none of this would have happened without persistence. Barnes worked for years before his chance ever came up, and he faced all sorts of skepticism. Persistence is the engine that drives action. It's what turns what looks like defeat, the devil's favorite tool, into just a temporary lesson that moves you one step closer to your goal. All right, so you've got your mind right. You're taking action. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's a big one. Hill says you can't win this battle alone. You have to control your environment, and especially the people in it. And this brings us to his legendary concept of the Mastermind Alliance. The idea is simple but profound. When you surround yourself with people who share your purpose and your vision, you create a kind of collective intelligence, a powerful third mind that is far more creative and resourceful than any individual mind could ever be alone. And listen, this isn't just about finding business partners. It's about your entire environment. A positive one, filled with supportive, ambitious people, well, that fosters growth. But a negative one, full of complainers and critics, it just drains your energy and slowly adapts your mind to failure. Your environment is either a tailwind pushing you forward or a headwind holding you back. You know, Hill wasn't just talking theory here. He lived this. After his mother died, he was a pretty rough, unruly kid. But then his stepmother came into his life and created a new, positive environment. She believed in him, she encouraged him to read, and she inspired him to get an education. That single change in his environment changed the entire trajectory of his life. So when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? You get a really clear three-part strategy to break free from that drifting life and finally reclaim control of your own destiny. It's this really powerful 1-2-3 punch. First, you set your internal compass with a definite purpose. Second, you start moving with decisive, persistent action. And third, you amplify all your efforts by building a supportive alliance and a positive environment. This is how you stop drifting and start driving. Look, Hill's work isn't just some old book with interesting ideas. It's a straight-up call to action. He laid out the blueprint, he exposed the tactics of our inner fears, and he handed us the weapons to fight back. You now have the keys. The only question left is, what will you unlock?